everybody, and welcome along to round number 9 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship, supported by Mobil 1 Service Centres. And as the cars roll up for their warm-up lap around this 4.3 km Zandvoort, one of the away days, if you like, for the British GT Championship. Hello there, my name's John Hindhoff. Delighted to be talking you through the action after a fabulous race here on Saturday, which saw Michael Caine take the victory alongside his teammate Ahmed El Hathi in the Porsche 997. That moves them right back into contention in the championship. At the moment in GT, it's Attard and Bryant with 99 points, and then we've got Andrew Howard on 95.5 points, then El Hathi and Caine on 95 points, and Johnny Adam, teammate to Andrew Howard, on 89 points. Behind them, 86.5 points for Nick Tandy, and then it's the Patterson Bell car on 85.5 further down the championship. And with just Donington to go after this one, we are into the serious part of the season. Paul is on the right hand side as they go down towards Tarzan next time around, and it will be Nick Tandy on pole position in the 31 car, Rob Barth on his inside in the 18, and then Phil Keane in the 33. Alongside him, the number 13 AF Corsa Ferrari of Aaron Scott, who'll take the starts. Mostly the pro drivers who are taking the start today. Johnny Adams starting the 007 Aston Martin on the right hand side of pole of row 3, with Ollie Bryant in the BMW number 79 alongside him. And then on row number 4, it will be the 25 United Autosports R8 of Matt Bell. Mark Patterson to take that one over. Alongside Matt will be the number 8 car in 8th position, the 888 Optimum Racing BMW Z4 of Lee Moore, with Joe Osborne starting that car. Sorry to say that we will not have one of the GT4 runners from Saturday's race, because the 69 car did have an incident. Ginetta having a big incident coming out the final corner, and although Rick Parfitt was fine, the car not so. And a bit of an incident this morning as well with the 69 car. Had a diff problem in warm-up. Well done to Dan Eagling yesterday for their victory. So green flag then, and we are racing, and the fabulous field run down towards the first corner, bolstered by some of the HDI Gerling Dutch GT races as well. But the battle at the front between the GT cars, as we might have expected, and the Porsches holding sway at the moment of the rest of this brilliant looking field goes through the first lap of this classic circuit. Great to see a big GT field battling it out here on the just over 4 kilometres of Zandvoort. Decent crowd as well, lots of Brits come over. Going through there, the black number 5 Team WRT of Warren Hughes and Rembert Berg. Warren still in the championship after working hard in the early part of the season. He's in readiness for the Bentleys coming into GT racing at M Sport, getting some experience of running a car. They are now absolutely sorted in terms of have all of their time committed to building the cars for the end of this season, when we hear there will be a race debut, possibly the early part of next year or the late part of this. So everyone has made it through the first laps. There is Warren in that black Audi, just having a little nibble around the back of the lighter coloured car, represented of course. Is a credit to SRO, the organisers, that not so very long ago we barely had a dozen of these cars, and in the last 3 or 4 years, helped by the advent of GT3, we've got a big grid. Now there is the Beechstein Aston Martin with Johnny Adam under pressure from the Optimum Racing Z4. Lee Moore to join that car in. Joe Osborne driving the Z4 at the moment. Some real pressure on, further back down, more BMW action going through. Real momentum circuit here as the Curiacos 79 car. Wally Bryant starting today. The best of qualifyings. Everybody behaving themselves very nicely early on. The two problems yesterday at the end of pit lane. When we come round to the pit stops, we'll keep our eyes on that. There was an issue with the red light on the end of pit lane. The ever affable clerk of the course, Bernard Cottrell, who travels with the series, had a second drivers meeting this morning just to explain what went wrong and to reiterate what the procedure should be. Good to see that the organisers and the officials are quite happy to put their hands up and say there's an issue when there's an issue, that it is them. Now, problem for one of the Ginettas there. Oh, that's right in the middle of the pack. The 32 car going around the track speed Porsche, Gregor Fiskin and Stephen Jelly. Stephen starting that car today, and that's very unusual to see him. He's right on the last corner, and that's where the big shunt was yesterday with Rick Parford. Went wide. Edge of the circuit, that's on the exit of the Ari Lyondike corner at the end of the lap. Now, if that car can't be moved, we might see a safety car coming out. That, I think, was the Ginetta we saw going slowly. The M-Tech, the Century Motorsport car, but that seems to be moving again, as does the Porsche. Ah, now he was helped into that with Stephen. That wasn't all his fault, was it? Not at all. There was a Mercedes-Benz right in the mix there. Saw the end of that. I imagine that Stephen will be very pleased with that. Started off 10th position inside of outside of row 5 rather. There is the 33 Demon Tweaks Porsche going through in close proximity to the FF Corsa Rob Barth driven machine. Phil Keane will hand that Porsche over to John Minshaw. Seems like I've been commentating on Minshaw's in Demon Tweaks colours forever. Let's go a little bit further back down. This is action with the GT Academy 1-2 423 car. The Keep Verscheur, Sander van Es and Dennis van der Laar trying to keep behind the Corvette of Kevin Snooks in the HDI Formado Marcel Nuren entered car. Marcel taking that car over later on. And these two of the HDI Curling Dutch GT competitors. In fact, at the head of that field through goes the Corvette. Now, can he get it stopped with Tarzan? Yes, he can. The Keep Verscheur team we've seen at the Dunlop Dubai 24 Hours for the last few years, playing their trade here with the Nissan as well, the 370Z. For local talent, Sander van Es, Dennis van der Laar in that car later on. Let's get back to the sharp end of the British field, and still Joe Osborne and Rob Barth battling it out. The BMW, the black car, just a little bit defensive, going over the top of the rise into the heavy braking area at the Audi S's. In fact, it's the Aaron Scott driven car, my apologies. It's the 13 AF Corsa, and right in behind there, the Aston Martin right there, battling it out. So in the early moments then of round number 9 of the British GT Championship, the Trophy of the Dunes as it's been called, this seaside circuit at Zandvoort, almost now really almost a suburb of Amsterdam. As through comes the 5 Audi, and that's Warren Hughes. Following him through is the Z4 of the Acuria Cost team, 79 car, which was started today by Ollie Bryant, and they're making up positions. And Hughes actually only started on row 6, so issues then for Ollie's been shuffled down a little bit. It's been a good run from Warren, and now has a Porsche in his sights. Great to see the variety, isn't it? Hughes going to work straight away. Down the inside of the Michael Caine driven Porsche, winners of the Saturday race, putting them right into the championship run, the championship hunt. So, distinctive bright orange helmet of the genial northeasterner behind the wheel of that matte black Audi, coming towards the end of the lap now, and the serpentine run down to the Harry Lyondike corner that will sweep them through Cumho towards Harry Lyondike and then back onto the start-finish straight. Just no run off there at all. And Hughes, he's right in the wheel tracks of Michael Caine, delighted with yesterday's result, and Hughes goes down the inside for an out-braking manoeuvre into Tarzan, but can't get it done. And last year's champion Michael Caine, another man who I have shared paddock space with on many times through the past, making the jump into British GT a couple of seasons ago and doing a cracking job, winning the championship last year. Quick glance of the Camaro there, one of the 2 Camaros that are racing for Las Moras Racing Team. The BMW, the 418 car of Ecris Motorsports. Ricardo van der Hende starting that car. He'll hand over to Pieter Christian van Oranje in the second half of the race. And again, as you might realise, those guys are part of the HDI Girling Dutch GT Championship. And there is Johnny Adam in the 007 Aston Martin. At the moment, in relative isolation, see much of the leader, and in fact, as those words come out of my mouth, there he is crossing the line with just under 50 minutes to go. And the battle for 4th position is the one that's really hotting up. 4th down through 10th, really. Mercedes-Benz rumbling through. Tech car. In a successful weekend, the competitors love this track. They've had a good run out at it. Still looking at this battle with Warren Hughes. Michael Caine just ahead of him. In front of them, the M-Tech Luke Hines driven Ginetta. This is the GT3 version of the Ginetta. There is a GT4 as well. We saw those earlier on. This is the G55. Derek Johnson will be jumping in after Luke. And a door left open there by Heinze down the inside. Michael Caine's got position, but he just didn't have the grip, did he? And Hughesy sniffing around in the black Audi behind them, looking to make up positions, this time with a slide and almost a block pass, almost motorcycle, motocross style. Caine goes through and takes the position, and Warren Hughes is trying to follow him through in the Audi. And Luke Hines will lose 2 positions as they brake hard for the Audi S. Ollie Bryant right in behind there in the Acuria Cost car as well, the white BMW Z4. in the United Autosport 25 Audi R8 there. He has got his mirrors full of BMW. The Optimum Racing Dan Brown driven car. Steve Tandy will be jumping into that after the pit stops. Fantastic circuit to race on. Almost don't want to say too much because just enjoying these great pictures as we go further up the field again to check back in with the guys making progress, and Warren Hughes certainly is in that bracket, right up behind last year's champion Michael Caine, who's just drifting the rear end of the number one car around. So Hughesy then fighting his way back through the field. Right on the tail of that Porsche. Interesting to see the relative strengths and weaknesses of the cars. Down into the hard braking area. Can take the curb on the right hand side there, but it's very much suck it and see coming out of the Audi S there. Climbing up towards Kumho, another right-hander. Taking a huge amount of speed through there, and look how much more road the Porsche is taking. Warren Hughes, is he lining up for a go at Caney down into Tarzan? He's right in the hole in the air made by the Porsche. Amazing how similar in size those cars are. You'd swear that the Audi was a much bigger machine, and Hughes comes down as the last of the late breakers. Goes in earlier. Maybe the rear tyres just beginning to be worked a little hard on the Porsche by Michael Caine. Didn't feel the need to go defensive though, did he, into Tarzan? Climbing again, fantastic undulating circuit here through Rob Slottermacher and up towards the far side of the circuit. Just unsettled across that brow there. Michael Caine for so long in the Porsche Carrera Cup GP, made the jump into this championship and won the championship last year. It's a brave move. Warren Hughes, Formula Renault Lotus, Formula Vauxhall Lotus rather, F3, German touring cars in the Super Touring era, on the podium at Le Mans, of course, won for RML. Now firmly established as a quality development and racing driver. And he's closed right up again through the last two corners. Out through Harry Lyondike onto the front straight. Is he a tad closer than last time? I'm not sure he is, you know. Just coming under the 3/4 of an hour mark still to run. And again, confidence by Michael Caine there, as he didn't feel the need to defend. You get the feeling that if Warren could get through in that Audi, the black second of those two cars, that he would be quicker and he could possibly get off up the road and start chasing down the leaders. But not sure that Michael is about to give him that position. Sweeping down through these fast right-handers. Caine from Hughes, no quarter asked or given. So now traffic will play a part as well, as one of the GT4 Ginettas is about to go under the sword as these two fight. You can spot the GT4 cars, they're slightly less aggressive in their body shape. Now, will they keep out of the way? Yes, they will. That's beautifully heads-up driving. APO Sport car. Was that the M-Tech car, excuse me? As they went through there, whipped past it so quickly. And this battle continues to rage on. Two absolute stalwarts of British motor racing whose careers have taken different turns down the years. Warren very much a single-seater driver in his early days. And again, he just can't get close enough under braking for Tarzan. Now, can he set himself up? Climbing up through the right-hander Gelach and then to Hugenholtz, that almost, well, it is a 180-degree left-hander, isn't it? Now let's go back to the head of the field. That is Rob Barth, started on the outside of front row. That is Phil Keane in the 33 Porsche that he shares with John Minshaw. I'm bound to call him Alan at least once. He commentated on his dad. Through goes the Optimum Racing 888 car of Joe Osborne. BMWs have been so successful since coming into the championship. So clicking off another lap in 100 metres time. Michael Caine then still scrapping with Warren Hughes. Remember, 75 kilos on the Porsche for winning the race yesterday, the Saturday race here. Michael very, very excited about that. He's doing well to hang on to that position. Now this time Hughesy tries again down the inside but just can't get it done. Really frustrating. Hughesy didn't get a good finish yesterday, in fact didn't finish the race yesterday, classified but down in 25th position, and really that's given his championship a big knock, staying in the championship. Yellow flags are waving there on driver's left, so what's happened down at the bottom of the hill? And the answer is that's a 888 BMW that's gone around, and that, I'm afraid, is Dan Brown who's made the mistake. You can see the marks on the circuit. Now, has he hit something with the left-hand side of that car? As Kearney's backing that Porsche in. Now he feels the need to defend. First time we've really seen him taking a middle-of-the-road entry to the corner. He'll drift out. Right. Oh, that's another issue, and that's one of the GT4 cars, and that's a big hit for that little Ginetta. That's the Century car, I think. Nathan Freak started that car, should have been handing it off to Declan Jones. And the safety car is on standby, the BMW ready to roll. Green flag after. How has he got over there? Can Hughesy use one of the cars ahead as a pick? No, he can't, and in fact he may have just had to lift off a little bit as they streak past the Ginetta GT4 and down into the braking area again. This is the only place that Warren seems to be able to challenge Michael. Very impressed with how Kearney is resisting this pressure. Oh, now a slow car right when Kearney didn't need it. Through the open hairpin at Hugenholtz, now climbing up the hill, over the top of the brow again, and still those yellow flags are out. So now Hughesy with that car ahead can't go by until he sees a green flag. And there's the green, so Hughesy will dive to driver's right and go straight back. You saw that on the right hand side of our picture quite clearly there, so Warren being very careful, even when lapping a car, not to make any mistake, as into the pit comes the Optimum Racing Z4 rather, GT3. Dan Brown's got it home again. Quick glance at the Ferrari that we haven't seen too much of, the 61 car, being the horsepower racing machine. Andy Schultz started that car. Paul Bailey will jump into it after the break, or after the pit stop, should I say. Now there is damage to the right front. Is there suspension damage, or is it just the carbon? And there, the superb safety crews have already got a very, very badly damaged car pulled over to one side. Is that the APO Sport car? No, it might be. Apologies there. GT4 cars identified. Two of the Ginettas that are having a battle at the moment. The MTEC 42 and the CWS 4x4 spares car, the 40. Jumping in after Tom Sharp has had his go in the bright orange of those two cars. And there's the Triple Eight car out again. Looks well. Couldn't have been too much damage around the front end then. Great work by the safety crews getting the Ginetta GT4 out of the way. Just confirming, by the way, my myopic vision, it was the APO James May Alex Osborne G50 that had the issue there. Is James May out of the car. That's not going to rub out, is it? Now let's look back to the action, and if we want action we just go back to Hughes in the number 5 Team WRT Audi R8, and our defending champions, the Oman Air Motorbase Porsche 911 GT3R. Out a little bit of room, got a bit lucky when he got yellow flags in a car between them. Hughes, look at him throwing that very, very black R8 into the corners, missing a big bump there, by the way. If you're wondering why they're swerving out to the right, there's a big undulation in the track there that really unsettles the car, and it's easier to just toss the car around it. A bit like running down the hill from Casino Square in a Formula 1 car, Formula 1, not that I've ever done either, I should point out at this juncture. Very impressed with both of these drivers. They've been right on it for, what, the last 10-15 minutes, virtually since the start of the race, since it opened up. And only once have we seen Michael Caine in the Oman Air Motorbase Porsche feeling the need to go terribly defensive. He trusts that he can get to the apex, and this time he dives to the right, and that's because, not because he's defensive, but with just over half an hour, 33 minutes to go, he's heading into the pits as the pit lane window is now open. It will be Ahmed El Hati who jumps in. There is non-professional driver, gentleman, sportsman, call them what you will, if this is your first time watching British GT, a mix of drivers who are graded as pros and those who aren't. Refuse to call them amateurs because they're out there doing a fine job of work in very powerful racing cars. Is the track speed Porsche of Nick Tandy. 7th position in the championship at the moment. We'll be handing over to David Ashburn after the pit stop cycle. There's a little bit of tactics about when you come in, not a massive pit stop opening. It's not as if you can drive for all bar 5 minutes of the race and then just throw your second driver in. You do have to split the work a little more sensibly than that. Simpson in the Ginetta Team LNT, just coming into the pits. Smith will take over that GT3 car. It's a nice open pit lane, hasn't he? That's pretty good timing. Big pit lane here at Zandvoort. You can see all of the second drivers now beginning just to limber up. So this is the bit where round 9 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship, supported by Mobile One Service Centres, gets a little bit untidy. We know that that number 1 Porsche has done its pit stop. As we saw Michael Caine bring it into the pit, so that is Ahmed El Hati at the wheel now. Ahead of him, Optimum Racing number 8. Now they won't be dashing out. There is a set pit stop time, so there's no need for anybody to be doing anything at a breakneck pace and not getting themselves belted in. That's why you're not seeing the sort of pit stops you would do in the ELMS or the World Endurance Championship. There is the 33, Phil Keane. I believe that's still Phil at the wheel of that, without the assistance of our captions here. Having a lap chart this as we go along from what we're seeing, just as you are back at home, I'm sure. It's Jeremy Shaw next to me, isn't it? And that's definitely still Warren Hughes there. The bright orange, almost Tiffany Dell-like helmet. At the bottom of why Warren wears such a bright helmet. 69 Ginetta still being looked at. Internecine Ginetta battle continues. The CWS car there. And that's the Nissan 370Z4 just getting in the way at the moment. Sander Van Ness, Dennis van der Laar sharing the Equipe Vaucheur car, but just about staying out of the way of those two Ginetta G55 GT3 cars. Tom Sharp and Luke Hines giving over to Colin White and Derek Johnson in the 40 and the 42. They're 42 and 40 at the moment, and oh! Now that's exactly where we had the Ginetta incident yesterday, coming out of the final corner, coming out of Harry Lyondike. Well, that must be the G55 of Rob Smith, who's just taken that car over. We saw it come into the pits, remember, with Mike Simpson at the wheel, the Team LNT. And now both of these Ginettas are coming in at the same time. Super. We tick them off the list for having pitted then. 40 and 42. GT4 cars just pulling out ahead as well. As you can see, it's a relatively relaxed pit stop. Bit of damage there. Or is there just some concern on the front of the CWS Motorsport CWS 4x4 spares car. Colin White, delighted to see Colin still running cars and still enjoying his motorsport. Takes over from Tom Sharp in that car. And once again, the 409 Chevy Camaro. Duncan Heisman handing over to Luke Brahms. That is a very, very pretty looking car. Sorry, not pretty, purposeful. A purposeful looking car with the Beech Dean Aston right in behind it. Now, I haven't seen the Beech Dean Aston stop yet, the 007 car. So it should still be Johnny Adam at the wheel, and as I say that, thank you very much indeed for giving me the picture of that coming in. Tick that one off as well. Getting towards the end of the pit stop window now, so the less experience of the drivers, Fortec Motorsports, Mercedes-Benz, Benji Hetherington coming in to give over to Jason Minshaw. That's the red and white Benz there at the back of that group of cars. Yesterday, for the most part, the less experienced drivers drove first. Today, the more experienced drivers. And eagle-eyed viewers will note that they came in 42 and 40, and they've gone out 40 and 42. Or at least the CWS car, in some way, shape or form, has got out and ahead on the track where when it came in. Here comes the 370 in the background, and that then will be Sander van Es getting out and Dennis van der Laar getting in. Warren Hughes is out of the 5 car, and Rembert Berg will get in. BMW M3, Ricardo van der Ende out, and the fabulously named Pieter Christian van Orange is getting in. And here comes the 31 track speed Porsche. Nick Tandy will give over to David Ashburn. That's the spotty car coming into the pit lane now. Out goes the very orange BMW. Looks like Gregor Fiskin being bolted into the 32 car. Stephen Jelly's brought that in, the tartan coloured car that is the first of those 3 Porsches. And I'm guessing, although I didn't see, that that's the 33 car coming in behind. Yes, it is. So 31, 32 and 33 have pitted in that order. They're not in that order in the race. There is the... I was confused for a moment there because I thought the 2 Ginettas had spun around again, or changed around again, but it was the 42 ahead of the BMW of Pieter Christian van Orange. That's the Ecris Motorsport. Oh! And just out of the pits on the first lap, out after all the hard work by Warren Hughes. Rembert Berg has had an issue. Looks like he spun the Team WRT Audi. Somebody getting a great picture. As out goes Track Speed's David Ashburn. Really in the hunt for the championship this year, which is a bit of a shock to me, and it looks like Berg's got that Audi going. It's got a light, a day notice light off on the right hand side, so has there been a bit of contact there? Staying away to driver's right. He heads very slowly indeed. Meantime, across the start finish line, Andrew Howard now at the wheel of the Beech Dean Aston Martin racing car, just going through on the 25. Now, Matt Bell, I think he's out of that car now, so that'll be Mark Patterson in the United Autosports 25. So Rembert Berg then in the Team WRT LMS Ultra Audi R8, still touring in. Oh, very, very close call there between the Acuria Cos BMW with Marco Attard at the wheel and Ahmed El Harti. Oh, disaster. What a shame. Left rear puncture for Pieter Christian van Orange in the Ecris Motorsport BMW. And double waved yellows right at the part of the circuit where the Ginetta G50 number 69, the APO Sport car, was removed. Oh, and there's the 33 going around as well and disappearing off stage right. John Minshaw losing the track speed car. Now come on, PC, Pieter Christian. He's going to limp that one home. That's not a happy tyre, is it? That's a good pace to come round on, though. He's not doing any more damage than he needs to. I'm not saying he's doing no damage, note. And some very brave marshals pushing Remberg's car away to obviate the need for a full course caution. So David Ashburn in the track speed Porsche that he's just taken over from Nick Tandy then. It's the Ecris Motorsport BMW of Pieter Christian van Orange. Comes back into the pit lane. Ricardo van der Ende looking on from the pit lane. Nothing he can do. Still about a third of a lap to go. He's right at the top of the hill there. Didn't see what caused the puncture, whether it was side-by-side contact. There is the Ferrari 458 Italia of Gary Eastwood. He's taken that over from Rob Barth. How brave are those marshals pushing that Audi away. So 31 onto the start-finish straight, leading the motor race. And still the Ecris Motorsport BMW bravely making its way around the circuit. Happened right at the start of the lap as well. Could not have been any worse luck for the local team running in the HDI Girling Dutch GT Championship. Oh, and that's the 42 car, isn't it? The M-Tech Ginetta. Derek Johnson at the wheel. Is that car running around? Similar colour scheme to the Team LNT. See if we can get another look at it. Lots of drama out in the circuit there. It is the 42, and that has pulled off the circuit right where we saw the spin for John Minshaw earlier on, and all of a sudden it's gone bonkers. Aston Martin versus BMW. Andrew Howard versus Marco Attard. So all kind of detritus on the circuit here as we move into the last third of this race. There's Remberg still trying to refire the number 5 WRTR8 LMS Ultra Audi. Through goes one of the Camaros. There's a white one and a black one of the last Morash Racing team. Luc Brahms and Frank Wilschut behind the wheels of 409 and 412 respectively. As I said, a purposeful looking car, whether it is black or white. It's Frank Wilshire in the 412 there, who has another American muscle car behind it at the moment. That's the Corvette C6 GT4 Marcel Nuren in the HDI Famido car. Still having a cracking scrap in the HDI Girling Dutch GT portion of the race. And still out front, it's David Ashburn in the track speed Porsche. It's the 33 car. Just in traffic at the moment. Does not need this, under pressure from the Ferrari behind. Great battle going on here. So BMW, Porsche and Ferrari battling it out. Lee Mall in the Optimum Racing BMW. And John Minshaw in the 33 track speed Porsche. Icewood behind them in the Ferrari. Check to see if anyone's done their pit stops. Yes, I think they have now. It's John Dillon, in fact, in the 13 car behind these two battling. And still, the Van Orange Ecris Motorsport car touring around the circuit's been going for a very long time, but as he's just royalty, I suppose he's allowed to have a dispensation. There is Christian Van Orange. He's done well to get it round. It happened wide at the start of the lap. What a fool for down in the Tarzan again. You can see the dark colours there, where it's just so bumpy. Further back, that Glam 007 Aston, I think. Andrew Howard now at the wheel is next in line. And he seemed to have some company as well. We'll see who that was when we get a slightly longer shot. These three cars at the moment providing the excitement. Downhill, misses the bump. It's the Porsche rides that bump very nicely, doesn't it? Into Kumho. The top of the rise. What a fantastic shot that is down into the Audi S. John Dillon in the AF Corsa. Not allowed to have a GT race without an AF Corsa car in it, of course, it would seem. They're running something north of 40 cars in various championships this year. So we head back to the number 31 and David Ashburn in elegant isolation. Hard work done by Nick Tandy. Now the BMW finally gets back to the pits, having stayed well out the way of everybody else. I think actually Peter Christian Van Orange has done a pretty good job there in the Ecris Motorsport car. And certainly got plenty of exposure for his sponsors. But that's probably the slowest lap we'll see all day, but maybe the one that should have the biggest round of applause, because that happened so early in the 4.3 kilometre lap. Let's get back to the racing. Again, that battle we were watching just a moment or two ago, and yeah, that is an Aston that is gaining on them. And then I'm pretty sure as well that that's the Acuria Cross BMW, the white and blue Sol tyre colours. So all of a sudden, well, in not very long time, you would think we may have 5 cars battling here. Just look in the background coming out there. That's, I'm certain, the very, very distinctive Aston Martin Vantage GT3 of Beechdean and Andrew Howard. Again, traffic. And there's the 79 car, so wrong there. That is a battle for position between Acuria Kos and the track speed number 32 of Gregor Fisken. See the remnants of the thunderstorm this morning before warm-up. There's PC. Pieter Christian. Getting a new tyre and about to be sent on his way. He's lost a lot of laps whilst all that was going on. 10 laps down already on the leaders in that Dutch GT4 category. That's how long it's taken him to go around that very slow lap, something in the region of 11 minutes. Can't afford the ender. Usually deciding whether that car can go back out and take any further part. As David Ashburn heads into Tarzan. Chasing cars. Two of the Dutch GT4 cars behind them, the last Morash Racing Team 412 Camaro. Now being driven by Frank Wilshut. Saw the Nissan GT Academy by Equipe Verscheur Dennis van der Laar. Car as well there. So here's that battle we were looking at before, and look, there's been a change. Of course there was. We took our eyes off it for a moment, and through has gone John Minshaw ahead of Lee Mole, and now Lee having to defend from John Dillon in the AF Corsa Ferrari. Let's have a look at these two who are coming up behind then. Course, going to see the roof better next time around. So can John Dillon do anything with the BMW ahead of him? Ooh, down at the Audi S, nice overtake, and clean as you like. Well done, John Dillon. 458 Italia of AF Corsa makes up a position, and straight away Andrew Howard thinks he'll have a bit of that as well. That's now Pieter Christian pleading his case. Oh, go on, let me go out again. It was only a puncture. Down in Tarzan, and instead of attacking as he thought he might be, Andrew Howard is defending against. You see, I should have just gone with what I said the first time. There's the Kyriakos car with Marco Attard at the wheel. So the one we saw in isolation was the Barwell car earlier on. Salt tyre on the roof. Tell me, is that 79 or 78? Answers on a postcard, please, to Myopic commentate the competition. I hesitate to say it's quieting down with cars this close, because any moment now it could explode. Andrew Howard at the moment, the man with most on his mind, trying to attack and defend at the same time, never the easy thing to do. I say well done to John Minshaw, who's made his break for freedom from this little bunch that he was embroiled in before. The Porsche just disappearing out of shot there. Done, bringing down, having got past the BMW as well. So now it's down to Andrew Howard, who's closed up again in the 007 Aston. Remember when Andrew was racing a Beach Team Blue Mini, which was turned into a corgi toy, much to his Delight now. He's got the position, but he's on a very, very tight line into Tarzan. Can he get the Aston stopped? He can. And the big V12 noses in with an alacrity that belies that big V12 motor up front. So over the last few laps, Lee Moore has lost a few positions. Meantime, is the Mark Patterson driven Audi having Ahmed Al-Hati in the Oman Air Motor Base Porsche go Buffalo Gals all the way around the outside. Nice move. Been the worst of weekends for Kane and El-Hati, winning the Saturday race and pulling themselves up to third in the championship race. Just one more round to go after this one, Donington Park. There's two races at Zandvoort being 8 and 9. There's Lee Moore. BMW's just dropped off in the second half of the race, hasn't it? Behind them, the 79 Marco Attard leading the championship by just 3.5 points from Andrew Howard, who is ahead, of course, in the Beechdean car. The Aston Martin, that's 2 cars ahead, so at the moment he's making up ground on his championship leaders that he's chasing down. Andrew Howard not happy with the position on the circuit and giving the old flashing lights trick to John Dillon. He knows he's making up ground on the championship leaders in that BMW, and the two BMs now side by side as they come out of Hugenholtz and begin the climb up. Very fast part of the circuit, get the car balanced, keep your foot in. Magic. That little section there, those 2 or 3 corners down to this big sweeping right-hander, just brilliant. That's down through Renault, now Vodafone will be the next left-hander that they come to after this. This is Renault 3, Vodafone. And all of a sudden we've got these 4 cars bottled up behind John Dillon. What's happened to him? Thought he'd made the break here. And here comes Marco Attard, having a little look. Every position, more championship points for the 79 car, and we have seen this championship decided by the very smallest of margins in the past years. There's going to be half a dozen drivers or so who will go into Donington Park with a real chance, never mind just a mathematical chance. Oh, and more issues for the Ginettas. It's not been a good round for Ginettas, has it? That must be the Team LNT car, the 16 car, because I think we lost the 42 earlier on. Didn't see that one come back out. It's Rob Smith at the wheel, and there is the Barwell Sport Motorsport car, Piers Johnson, with some right rear damage there as well, as the Acuria Cos car has dealt with the number 8 BMW and is now right up behind its nearest championship challenger, being Andrew Howard. 33 Porsche. John Minshaw still motoring on. Left front tyre has gone completely. And here's Howard now on Dillon. Aston Martin versus Ferrari coming into the very quick section. It's all quick here, isn't it, really? There's a couple of big stops. And he's gone through. That's nice driving by Andrew Howard. But following him through, Marco Attard knows how important this is for the championship, but he can't afford a DNF there as they go past the stricken WRT Audi. Still parked at the side of the road there. Despite the best efforts of Rembert Berg, it's not been able to get that car going again. Oh, was that little love tap there? John Dillon will feel the pressure, and here comes the Benz of Fortec Motorsport with Jason Minshaw on board. It's the red and white 14 in the background. This is all getting a bit exciting. And there's traffic to pass, and it's Dutch GT4 runners who are battling for their own positions. That's the Les Morash Racing Team, 412 Camaro. Oh, big loss of control there. Piers Johnson, Marco Attard doing everything he can to hold on to the Acuria Cos Beamer. Didn't lose a place in all that. There are the two. That's the Kip Vischer BM GT4 370, and they're battling for position, those two GT4 cars. Dennis van der Laar must know he's got faster cars behind him, but he's desperately trying to hold on to Frank Wilschutt in the Camaro ahead of him, and this is danger time. Andrew Howard nicely disposing. Those little GT4 cars aren't that much slower, are they? And looked out, just the two BMWs having a scrap behind there. Was there a wee touch between the number 8 of Lee Mole and the championship leading Acuria Cross 79, the white car of Marco Attard? And here comes Jason Minshaw in the Benz, side by side with the black BMW, all amongst this battle in the Dutch GT4 category. Multi-class racing at its absolute best. Minshaw perhaps just losing out a little bit there. Oh, again, very tight. The Camaro of Frank Wilschutt. And there's Marco Attard just getting through. And I'm afraid Lee Mole in the black BMW didn't. So look at the gaps. They were all together just a few moments ago, those GT3 cars. And now we've got a trio and a pair of flag marshals with arms the size of Popeye after waving blue flags here today. And our thanks go to all of the race officials, as ever. Been a busy weekend. David Ashburn at the front of the field in the 31. Track speed 31 car. Now, it's the 42 back out. Oh, so that car did get moving again after we saw it at the side of the track. The M-Tech Ginetta, Derek Johnson. So that car off at the side of the circuit. Clearly, Derek has worked his magic. Been a good run for track speed. Nick Tandy starting the race in the 31997 GT3R. Good looking car still for my money. And as he comes around, the checkered flag is out. And although his lead has been cut back a wee bit, it's a long wait. Oh, and right at the end, that's the Minshaw Benz that we were talking about just a few moments ago. And he was in that massive scrap, and here's that big battle, and it's going to go. And importantly, there's a car between the two championship contenders, as through went the Aston Martin, and I'm pretty certain that the Ferrari of John Dillon was between him and Marco Attard in the Z4 GT3 of Acuria Cos. Now, all good stuff then. So well done to Nick Tandy and David Ashburn. They take round number 9 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship here in Zandvoort from the Ferrari 458 Italia. Number 18 in second place, Gary Eastwood and Rob Barth, and making up the podium will be Phil Keane John Minshaw. Big news for the championship, of course, is that Johnny Adam and Andrew Howard do manage to get a car between themselves and Marco Attard and Ollie Bryant. 4th for the 007 Aston, 6th for the 79 car was the John Dillon and Aaron Scott Ferrari in between those guys, and that makes a difference in championship standings. Well, a hard-fought race and a busy weekend for the British GT, the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. And if just once again proving that Zandvoort is a fantastic place to come. Now, I'm doing this in my head, so bear with me. I think Andrew Howard has taken the championship lead by getting that car between them by, wait for it, half a point. 107.5 points I make that over Marco Attard and Ollie Bryant in the Acuria Cost car. Johnny Adam, who hasn't been with Andrew for the full season, is next up on 101.5. And then in joint 4th position, Michael Caine and Ahmed El Hati, winners yesterday, on 7. Not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Neither is Nick Tandy in 5th, or Dan Brown and Steve Tandy in joint 6th. Matt Bell and Mark Patterson in 7th, down on 85.5 points. So really, really important. We were talking about that battle and we watched it with Andrew Howard just managing to put that Ferrari right at the end between himself and the Acuria Cos BMW, and that's enough for the Beechdean Aston Martin man to take the championship lead as we head to Donington Park. In the Dutch GT4, it was the black Chevy Camaro that took that one in the hands of Luke Brahms and Duncan Heisman. And in GT4 of the Avon British Championship, it was the number 45 Ginetta coming into the pits there. The Blendini Triple R of David Barker and Rory Bryant that took the spoils there ahead of yesterday's winners, the Eagling Smith 50 car. So that sets it up lovely, doesn't it, for Donington Park. Fantastic place to go for a motor race. And once again, the Avon Tyres British GT Championship, supported by Mobile One Service Centres, has given us a great season, and what's more, a fantastic finale. If you're within a day or half a day's travel of Donington Park, I highly recommend that you head out to that and support what is clearly, in terms of manufacturer support and variety and well-known drivers as well, the Tin Top Championship in the UK at the moment. A great run out across the channel in Holland, and well done to Andrew Howard then, who leads the championship by just half a point as they head to Donington. I'm John Hindorf, bye for now.
Kevin, get in behind him.